but some of those text messages might.
Did you break out of prison?
Will you be my maid of honor?
You think I want to make you pay?
I don't know, do you?
Well, Blake Lively has been handed her first big loss in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and frankly, it is entirely her own fault, or more precisely, the fault of her legal team.
The camera zooms in on a bustling courthouse, capturing the tension in the air. A voiceover sets the stage for a scandal that has rocked Hollywood, focusing on Blake Lively, the beloved actress now embroiled in controversy. Reports flood in, detailing her visible panic during court proceedings as new witnesses come forward with shocking allegations.
New video released by lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni shows unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us.
And Blake Lively's witnesses are rumored to be scared to testify. They're saying they're afraid that the public is going to bully them, at least that coming from Blake Lively's camp. Others say that they are being blackmailed into testifying by Blake Lively.
Naked truths aren't always pretty.
But Blake Lively's out for truths in her It Ends With Us lawsuit. So much so, the actress added an ex-CIA agent to her legal team.
We love our job and we love our work and we take it very, very seriously.
Oh, it's serious. Blake enlisting Nick Shapiro, the agency's former deputy chief of staff turned PR powerhouse. This after getting dealt a major blow in her court fight with Justin Baldoni.
Unedited video footage from the filming of It Ends With Us is released, showcasing behind-the-scenes moments that raise eyebrows.
Blake Lively had changed some stuff up in her amended complaint. Now she is describing that dancing scene very differently than she did in her first complaint. There was a post on X from Legal Bites who noticed this, and they made kind of a big deal about it.
On February 18th, Blake Lively's legal team filed an amended complaint against Baldoni and the other Wayfarer parties. She makes a number of changes, including adding some parties and some causes of action, and she changes what she alleges about some of the events that occurred on set.
The footage reveals interactions between Blake and Justin Baldoni, the film's co-star, hinting at a complicated dynamic. Legal experts analyze the implications of this footage, questioning the credibility of the testimonies being presented.
So Blake Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department and then a complaint in federal court in New York. Justin Baldoni says Blake Lively was the root of the problems, that she wanted to take over control of the production and she intentionally made false allegations, hoping she could edge him out of his own movie. And it worked, according to Baldoni. He said Blake Lively is the one who orchestrated the smear campaign against him and not the other way around. Baldoni sued Blake Lively in federal court in New York, and the two cases, Blake Lively's case against Justin Baldoni's case against Blake Lively, have been consolidated into one case. And there are lots of defendants, lots of plaintiffs, lots of counterclaim plaintiffs and defendants.
Whispers circulate about Blake's witnesses, who are reportedly terrified to testify. Sources claim they fear public backlash and bullying, creating an atmosphere of intimidation.
You know, I think every day Blake Lively is not wanting to be Blake Lively. Like, I think she even wants to back out of this because it's become so cringy at this point.
It is now a consolidated action, meaning that Baldoni's lawsuit against Lively and Ryan Reynolds in the New York Times and her suit against him will all be joined together as one. This was approved by the court.
Allegations of blackmail emerge, suggesting that some witnesses may have been coerced into supporting Blake's claims. The narrative thickens as Blake's camp insists on the pursuit of truth, while others speculate about the motives behind the testimonies.
Okay, so I was able to read the amended complaint, which, by the way, it's very abnormal. It's almost 180 pages, 400 and some odd paragraphs. Complaints are not normally that long, but this one has to be for public consumption. And I boiled it down to 4 main points. So if you were to believe her allegations, they kind of, everything she says kind of fits into one of these 4 points in my mind. So number one, both Baldoni and Heath are creeps, and so there's a lot of allegations about how just creepy they are, per her complaint. Number two, the SH has nothing to do with taking over the movie, even though she doesn't deny that she took over the movie. Of course, it'd be probably impossible to do that, but she's trying to separate out the SH from the movie takeover. Number 3, we are all dupes. So you're a sucker, we're suckers. Everybody on the internet that's talking about this are suckers because we've all been suckered in by the astroturfing, which I didn't even know what that term meant until the amended complaint. So apparently that's when people leave fake comments from fake accounts.
I think that was in the original complaint too, but it is a new term to me as well.
Yeah. So anyway, that number 3 is we're all dupes. And number 4, the smear campaign designed by Baldoni's team was intended to derail the SH claims that Lively brought later in time, which seems a little odd to me because her bad press came in early August, and yet the complaint to the CRD didn't happen till December 20th. But her claim is that this whole elaborate scheme to smear her came about because Baldoni knew that she was going to be filing this complaint with the CRD.
In a bold move, Blake enlists a high-profile PR expert, Nick Shapiro, to bolster her legal team. This decision underscores the seriousness of the situation.
Friedman told CNN in a statement on Saturday the decision to amend our lawsuit was a logical next step due to the overwhelming amount of new proof that has come to light.
Normal people at home who don't care about this woman at all are looking at her like, I don't like her. She seems like a bully.
As Blake aims to navigate the treacherous waters of public perception and legal battles, the stakes are high, and the pressure mounts as she prepares for a fight that could define her career. The courtroom drama intensifies as Blake files complaints with both the California Civil Rights Department and federal court in New York.
Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferrer, now their names are kind of leaked. It was in a Hollywood Reporter article that I saw this morning that their names were there. Sources are claiming it's them. So now, as I noticed as well, Jenny Slate is getting a lot of heat on Instagram, and I saw that Isabel Ferrer closed off her comment section.
This was first in the form of a CRD, a Civil Rights Department complaint, before it matured into an actual federal lawsuit.
Justin Baldoni counters with his own claims, alleging that Blake is the root of the problems, accusing her of attempting to seize control of the production.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her, the more her promotional efforts for a film about domestic violence felt off. She was full of giggles and laughter and wanted to promote her liquor brand. Nothing says domestic violence like a bottle of tequila. What? So it felt weird, and she started to get hit by some of the media for being insensitive. Then this one reporter re-upped a video in which she interviewed a then pregnant Blake, a then 8-month pregnant Blake, and kicked off the interview as you would do as a journalist if there's something obviously different about somebody physically by saying, oh, you have such a cute baby bump. And Blake was taken aback, even though it was obvious, and said, oh, so do you. The reporter was not pregnant. It was a nasty jibe at her for no reason.
He asserts that she orchestrated a smear campaign against him, turning the narrative on its head. As the legal battles unfold, the cases against each other are consolidated.
She accused him of making very inappropriate comments, very inappropriate actions against her, all sorts of things. Like I said, the world was shocked and everyone was buzzing about it. So many people jumped to conclusions based on that lawsuit alone. I'll be honest, now Blake Lively is not the most popular person in many groups throughout popular culture, and it's just because some of her past history of odd or not so pleasant exchanges that have been publicly known.
Revealing a complex web of defendants and plaintiffs, the courtroom becomes a battleground, with both sides presenting their arguments.
We knew this was going to happen. The timing of it is a different question. The timing of this is something else, because we knew from Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, that they were planning on launching a website that would list more text messages and purported evidence in this ongoing legal feud between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And this is, of course, after Lively filed her lawsuit against Baldoni and his production company and others, including a PR specialist and crisis management expert. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, said that they would release every single text message between Baldoni and Lively, and that they would launch a website including all of the correspondence. And it appears they did just that. On Saturday, February 1st, a website was launched, www.thelawsuitinfo.com, and it contains 2 giant PDF files. So one is an amended complaint in this case from Baldoni. It is 224 pages, longer than the original 179-page complaint.
Usually one side will ask for whatever they can, but there will be pushback.
The pushback handed down by a judge last week. In docs obtained by ET, Blake's subpoena for Justin's phone records going back 2 years was called overly intrusive, limiting the window to their time together behind the scene.
Blake's amended complaint introduces new details, particularly regarding a dancing scene that has drawn significant attention from legal analysts and the media. The narrative shifts to the broader implications of the case, with speculation about Justin's insider knowledge and the potential fallout for Hollywood.
They want it, don't give it to them.
Definitely each party wants to get as much information as possible and make this process as burdensome as possible for the other side. Any piece of evidence could certainly aid Blake Lively's claims, but not everything is relevant and not everything is evidence. So 2.5 years of innocuous text messages do not seem to support her underlying claims, but some of those text messages might.
The amended complaint, unusually lengthy at nearly 180 pages, outlines 4 main allegations against Justin and his team. These include claims of misconduct, inappropriate behavior on set, and a coordinated smear campaign designed to undermine Blake's credibility.
She claims that Baldoni and others engaged in misconduct on set, including sexual harassment, whether that be allegedly improvising intimate scenes, allegedly fat-shaming her, allegedly inappropriately discussing sex and pornography, allegedly violating protocols in place for scenes, and there's a lot more. And then she claims when she voiced these concerns, she alleges that Baldoni and his team devised a smear campaign against her, using the press and digital manipulation to turn public sentiment against her, both online and in the media. So she sued him, his production company, Wayfarer Studios, as I mentioned, his PR rep, a crisis management specialist, expert, Wayfarer executives, and others.
As the courtroom drama unfolds, Blake's emotional state becomes a focal point. Eyewitnesses report her distress as new testimonies emerge, suggesting a coordinated effort to undermine her claims.
So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie across from him. He played the abusive guy and she played the woman. And this is the thrill of a lifetime for this guy. You know, he had done another TV project, but nobody knows who he is. So he gets Blake Lively. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. These are Hollywood A-listers. He's going to put him on the map. And she agrees to be his female co-star. Great, they're off to the races. Well, shortly into production, Blake Lively is very dissatisfied with virtually everything around her and decides to allege that Justin Baldoni, forgive me, very effeminate, evolved, modern feminist man bun kind of guy, is like this virulent harasser who can't stop harassing one of the biggest stars in Hollywood in front of everybody on the set. I've got questions. I'm not sure why he would do that, whether he'd have the guts to do that, or whether the man bun is the most likely harasser in general.
The atmosphere is charged, with Blake appearing increasingly overwhelmed as the pressure mounts. Reports indicate that she was seen whispering frantically to her legal team, her composure slipping as the stakes rise. The release of raw footage from the set adds another layer of complexity to the case. The footage captures candid moments between Blake and Justin, revealing the tension that existed during filming.
As I already mentioned, this legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has captured headlines everywhere.
And they say, well, this is why they didn't reveal their names, because Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, blasted the whole complaint as hearsay from people who were clearly no longer willing to come forward or publicly support her claims.
Both sides prepare for a public showdown, with Justin's team promising to release more evidence to support their claims.
There's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this.
This ends with me. I'm done. I'm tired.
Less than 12 hours after Justin filed, Blake's legal team doubled down, calling the bombshell $400 million lawsuit another chapter in the abuser playbook. The strategy of attacking the woman is desperate, and it will fail.
The media frenzy escalates, with headlines screaming about the courtroom drama and the implications for both actors. A timeline of events is presented, revealing a deeper connection between the parties involved.
Remember that Justin's team released this raw, unedited video of a dancing scene. It was actually B-roll that they used in the movie, where, you know, they weren't using their audio. It was just to show them in this cozy dance scene. There was some arguing between them about what's the best way to shoot it, and this and the other.
How they look, yeah.
So some fans have noticed that there are a lot of camera angles there that look very familiar, and that Blake Lively would certainly know.
Speculation arises about financial misconduct and potential ties to larger schemes within the industry.
As Justin Baldoni did before her, Blake Lively recently, just last week, filed a first amended complaint. This was highly anticipated since her lawyers recently told the court that they were planning to amend their complaint to add parties and claims because of, quote, new facts and claims that they learned since filing their original complaint. There are actually some claims that Lively has made that Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties might need to be concerned about. Lively's strongest claims in her lawsuit are quite possibly the retaliation claim and the failure to investigate claim. Of course, as is the case with every lawsuit out there, it comes down to what the evidence actually shows. But based on her allegations, it looks to me like these are likely her strongest ones at the moment. Part of that has to do with just how easy or difficult these various claims are to prove.
The case is set to go to trial in March 2026, raising questions about the future of both Blake and Justin in Hollywood.
Justin Baldoni's attorneys following through on a promise.
We're going to put it out there for the public to decide for themselves.
Releasing raw tape showing some of what happened on the set of It Ends With Us. It's the latest move in a Hollywood battle royale between Baldoni, his PR team, and his co-star, Blake Lively. In the sound from the recording, you can hear the two talking to each other. At one point, Blake even commenting on the size of Baldoni's nose.
I feel so nosy.
I know.
Noses.
And my nose is so big.
Yes. I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then,
Lively's team responding to the video saying Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning. Every frame of the released footage corroborates to the letter what Miss Lively described in her complaint. The video shows Miss Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the characters to just talk.
As the media frenzy grows, public opinion begins to shift. Fans are divided over Blake's character and the validity of her claims.
Blake Lively's in the news. TMZ says, of course witnesses are staying anonymous. They're terrified of threats and bullying. Blake says she has people to corroborate her complaints against Justin Baldoni. And while JB and his team want them to reveal their names, there's one major reason they aren't. They're terrified of receiving the same treatment as the A-list couple. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ it shouldn't come as a surprise that the two cast members from It Ends With Us who will testify in support of Blake are hiding their identities because they don't want to deal with the abuse like Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds are receiving.
Some rush to her defense, arguing that her emotional reaction in court does not equate to guilt, while others suggest that her visible panic indicates that the new witnesses may have damaging evidence against her.
It comes down to the hard evidence, which in this case are going to be text messages, emails, and certainly witness testimony as to what really happened here.
Among the dozens of receipts in Justin's suit, a text exchange in which Blake refers to herself as Game of Thrones Khaleesi, calling husband Ryan Reynolds and bestie Taylor, quote, my dragons who protect those I fight for, adding, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you.
The narrative concludes with a call to action, inviting viewers to weigh in on the unfolding drama. Questions linger about Blake's potential guilt, Justin's connection to the case.
And then there is the second PDF on the website, and it is entitled Timeline of Relevant Events. Now, to be clear about this is Baldoni's version. This is Baldoni's side, right? These are his claims, his allegations of the series of events. However, these files provide a lot more purported material in this story that we need to go through. And to be clear, there are things in this timeline that are more specific or not laid out per se in the amended complaint, but they could very well be used at an upcoming trial if this goes to trial. It's currently scheduled for March 2026.
And the broader implications for Hollywood. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience eager for the next chapter in this gripping saga.
The request said all documents concerning ingoing and outgoing calls or text messages related to telephone number, the number's redacted, belonging to the first one, Justin Baldoni, within the time period of December 1st, 2022 to the present, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site location information. So just to get a sense of how incredibly broad this is, they were asking for everything the phone company kept, which if they kept the actual text messages, they were asking for that. They were asking for call logs, text logs, and all cell site location data for 2.5 years. So that for 2.5 years, they would be able to follow exactly where Justin Baldoni's phone went.